Hey there Inky fans, bit of a different video today. I thought I'd show you all the work I've done for Kaijune 2026. A few years back I did a little video for Smaugust, but drawing a giant monster every day, or kaiju, is a hell of a lot more, free and less closed off than drawing a dragon every day. I was going to use the prompts list by subjectively, but that's tied into a whole contest and I didn't want to confuse people, so I made my own Kaijune board. You can even see in the corner here we've got a bonus board. For every 10 comments, I'll make one kaiju from viewer suggestions, and that's 10 comments on any video relating to Kaijune of mine. And for every 100 likes, and not every 100, if I get 100 likes, I'll draw every Shrek character as a kaiju. Now, for day 1, we had Florent the Grotesque. Essentially, his story goes, right? After the Statue of Liberty was gifted to the Americans and placed in New York, after being gifted from the French, a group of Japanese artists became jealous and created this large grotesque, similar to a lot of gargoyles found in buildings in New York. But over time, people would notice that the statue moved around the city, and many reports of vandalism were made because cracks started to show, and eventually the head was lopped off, or seemed to have popped off, until one day a large flower sprouted from where the head was originally, and the statue seemed to come to life. The US government employed every spiritualist, botanist, and archaeologist from God knows where to God knows there, and they eventually found that the creature could be sated by feeding it compost and detritus. Florent still lives in the city to this day and is its protector, so long that he remains fed. The next one we got, this guy, lovely chap that he is, was made for the prompt rodent, and he's basically a giant hamster. Winston was discovered during a royal air show, like where they have the coloured trails, they fly through the sky and do manoeuvres, for an English holiday in London, because one of the planes bumped into him. There was no casualty, as it just made a loud pop, like a bloop sound, as it bumped right off him as he was flying. Winston, despite his animalistic shape, has been shown to be highly intelligent and has memorized every bus route in the entirety of London. In exchange for magic items, or, a good grilled cheese, or cheese toasty as we call it over here, Winston will take you around the city on one of his elusive and expensive high-flying bus tours. For day 3, the prompt was brainstorm, and this chap is Tempest Prime. Essentially, a biotech organization wanted to find a way to monetize human suffering, and so they created a creature that was made of human grey matter, or brain juice, that could generate electricity by feeding off negative emotions. This unfortunately backfired when the radiation used to alter the genome of Tempest Prime had a malfunction, or at least what was generating it did, and Tempest Prime evolved into this large floating entity. It was originally one large thing, but it's been osmosizing into multiple smaller brain clouds. It hovers over the world's most population heavy places and feeds off brain energy. As the more people there are, the more suffering statistically it's likely to be. Tempest Prime has since been tranquilized, as there's not a lot lightning can do to lead tranquilizer darts, taken out of the air, and is now back in government testing. For day 4, the prompt was very open-ended, interstellar. This is Iggy the Star Eater, and as his name suggests, he eats stars. He was an intergalactic criminal, hence the UFO-looking shackles. But he escaped because they couldn't find the infrastructure, at least not in space, to hold him, because he's so huge. He's very heavily inspired by Space Godzilla, and the only reason he hasn't consumed Earth is because of Cheese Whiz. Earth has the most chemical snacks, and so instead of feeding off of the sun in its entirety, he enjoys Earth snacks and just feeds off of solar winds. Okay. For day 5, we've got Pathos. Pathos is essentially an ogre. People found him slumbering deep beneath the earth after trying to forage one of the mushrooms growing off his back one day in a large Scottish mountain. Pathos is rather friendly, except for the fact that his breath infects you with his spores. He's been known to play tricks on travelers, make people engage in Faustian bargains with him, offering them the skill of 10 men, or the speed of, a greyhound, in exchange for making a deal with him, seemingly for free. But in reality what he does is infect you with his massive spores. He has not been contained by any world government, as nobody can really control him, but he's been offered lots of goods that he likes, in exchange for not messing with the local population anymore. Pathos' favourite word is unpronounceable in English, as it's only speakable by mushrooms. For day 6, good God, this one took me forever, right? I gave myself the prompt spineless, and there's a lot of invertebrate creatures, and there's, arthropods, cephalopods, all these things, but when I thought of spineless, I thought of worms, right? And this is the Squirminator! He lives in LA, or I should say they live in LA, not because they lack a gender, but because they're literally 50,000 worms or so. The Squirminator is on the smaller side of all of the Kaijune made this week, and his main goal, or I should say their main goal, is monetary gain. You see, there was a test by the same company that made Tempest Prime to harvest brain stem cells being made or produced inside regular earthworms. This, however, backfired, and the worms congealed together into a hive mind, making the Squirminator. The Squirminator now is a well-known performer and wrestler, and features in 4-on-1 fights against regular human dudes. And finally, the last monster I made this week is Madame Estacia. Another alien. Madame Estacia was originally noticed as a landmark, being a mountain shaped like a home or estate of, like a gothic mansion sort of deal. Somebody tried going inside, but no one would ever come out. Until one day, what was assumed to be just basic architecture or a funny-looking mountain literally grew legs and walked away. She's very high class and wants to take over the Earth. However, her whereabouts are currently unknown. Well, that was everything I made for week 1. Most of the lore was on the fly. I'm trying to adopt a new philosophy of don't make it perfect, just have it be made. So all the drawings and illustrations you've seen today have been made entirely using Microsoft Paint. So don't go too hard on me for the poor writing and maybe funny looking shading. I just want to give it a try this year to see how many drawings I could do. And I hope you liked it. I'll see you guys next time. Keep tuning on in, and I'll see you next week with 7 more little dudes. Have a good one!